Bikinis on for Caribbean Uncovered at 10 after Heartthrobs of the 80s.
The 80s was the decade of materialism, and we wanted heartthrobs in all shapes and sizes. Young, cool, classy, and brassy. Stay tuned as the stars tell us what it's like to be adored.
You've got kids on top of the roof just stomping and just going crazy.
And within 10, 15 seconds, the entire car must have had 50 people in it, but I couldn't move or breathe. I didn't know them, I didn't know them on a first name basis, and it was, otherwise it would have been fun.
We've had some sex-rated experiences with fans.
I know a lot of my fans have got me on their arms or on their back or in various places.
I had more people constantly wanting to feel my butt, look at my butt.
Walking down King's Road at the height and having this poor girl dragging on my leg.
Fans could literally reach out and touch you. You know, it got crazy.
Women have exposed themselves, you know, and say, I love you!
That world is like woman hanging on your leg, crying her eyes out because there's so much love, and there's people wanting to kill you, stab you, and here over there, there's people being sick.
Famous they were. 13 hit singles and an army of brossettes put them on the map. They filled ripped jeans and stadiums throughout the world.
Matt saw me at a gig once. We did this really dodgy gig where they paid us in Pepsi Cola, I think. You know, we didn't get a fee. It was just like playing at a workman's club. It was really kind of ouchy. But a few girls had turned up, and Matt and some of his friends, and you know, you get attention. It's like your sort of first introduction of being kind of studly. I think Matt saw the potential in the black book department and said, can I join the band? And I said, all right.
And black book opportunities there were. The girls went crazy for Bros.
The Bros look was a real success. People always referred to James Dean as an influence, which it was an influence. Well, that's why me and Matt originally went there. We had 2 top 2 records, you know. I remember saying we're going to release our album, we're doing an album signing, and I got there and there was horseback police linked arm in arm. There was literally, there must have been 5,000 people, and I would have no reason to exaggerate. We got this kind of van, this kind of delivery van, just got in the back and did a decoy because the car got the doors ripped off of it. And it was absolutely berserk. I walked into the hotel once, and it was in Italy, and there was a girl that had paid somebody to let her in the room. She was there with stockings and suspenders and just lovely long dark hair. And I just thought, this is exactly what I'd hoped being famous would be about. It was like, there it was. It was like, this is the perk of life. And I remember saying to my bodyguard, I said, nothing can be this easy. And I said, you know, you're going to have to ask her to leave. So I did, and I walked into the living room. And he asked her to leave, and then I beat the hell out of myself. If I'd have been single, it'd have been different. I mean, it's like, at that age, at that time, the fans were very young. But if I'd been single and that girl on the bed, who was probably 25, maybe I would have done her. That would have, you know, it was really strange. You'd turn up somewhere, like, especially in the Latin countries like Spain and Italy, and you'd see fans, and they didn't look like fans. Some of them didn't take on the Bros look and stuff, and you'd think to yourself, wow, you know. This could be so easy. a lot of the time I used to pop in to see fans in hospitals and things. And one girl in around about 18 or 90, a girl called Leanne, was in a coma, and I sat next to her and I was talking to her in the ear, and I was just talking and talking and talking, because they said she literally was a massive, massive fan. And there was a kind of response to something, and I didn't realise the magnitude of that at all. I had no idea. And all I knew, there was suddenly chaos, you know, like the doctors and nurses and the parents were going absolutely berserk. And I did a tape where I was saying that, "Hi Lauren, this is Luke Goss. I'm sitting right next to you," and I said, "I'm dying to take you out," or something. I said, "Listen, let's go and have some this and do that, but I can't do it until you wake up." I said, "So wake up, Leanne, wake up, Leanne." I kept saying it over and over again for like a 20-minute tape. They just used to tape and put it next to her. And she came out of the coma, and there's always been a connection there with me, and it's kind of like makes me go cold now thinking about it. People say, "Do you think you brought her out of the coma?" I didn't bring her out of the coma. I just think maybe subliminally something was there that triggered something in her that gave her enough motivation to come out of it. If that's how it works, I don't know. But she's a special, brave woman, and I love her, and I care about her very much. The reason I left the band is because there has to be a continuity of the person that you are, like now, and the person that's presented. When you're that successful, you're on TV for 5 minutes at a time, here, there, bang, 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 bang. And it's not a great environment or opportunity to express yourself or be controversial or to have anything to say. So, because you're almost like a walking soundbite, you end up being a walking soundbite, which is, you know, you're a blonde guy and you're a walking soundbite equals conclusion, bimbo. Looking back, now I would have just said whatever, you know. People that like us, people that don't. If you believe it, believe. If you don't, who gives a shit? That's what I'd say now. And just do what I do. I wouldn't be so hung up. But I was a young kid then, and I didn't get into music just to be famous and to be, as ironic as that sounds, with the first song being When Will I Be Famous, and to do photo sessions. I personally hated all that. It really pissed me off. They used to call me Mr. Grumpy or Mr. Angry, I think they called me. Because I'd sit there and I never always did. Sometimes I didn't look like I was having a good time, and that's because I wasn't having a good time. Because I just thought, you know, here we are talking about what underwear I wear again. It kind of gets old, you know.
When will I be famous?
A bevy of beautiful blondes took Britain by the balls in the 80s. Daughter of 50s heartthrob Marty, Kim was wild by name, but quite placid by nature. In the 80s, Madonna spent 252 weeks, almost 5 years in the charts. That's the equivalent of half the decade. Fruity Bananarama were the biggest selling girl band of all time. Kylie Minogue dated Jason Donovan and Michael Hutchence. We should be so lucky, 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 lucky. The foxy blonde who was really big in the 80s, 36 double D to be precise, was Page 3's Sam Fox.
When I first did the Sunday People, John Kelly said to me, would I mind staying until the end? I thought, ooh. So at the end he said to me, look, I think you could be a great Page 3 girl. I think you've got a face of a child and a body of a woman, and there's not anyone like that at the moment. Except, obviously, I was 16, I had to talk to my parents, you know. On Saturday night, me and my mum and dad went to King's Cross to get the paper for the next day to see my picture. And I sat in the car waiting, and I remember my mum and dad walking over and going like that with her head down. I was thinking, what's happened? What's happened? Oh no! My dad went like that. It was front page, me topless, these pictures. I guess the total of Page 3s that I did was about 3,000 to 4,000, I think. A lot of it's down to my mum, I reckon, because she said to me, "You're not just going to wear you're not just going to wear a G-string. We've got to zap this Page 3 up a little bit." So I'd put boob tubes around my bum in sequins. I'd put big gloves on. I'd put braces on. I'd wear jeans.
There's a local pub next to the studio, and we used to go down there. And nobody took the slightest bit of notice. We walked in with McCartney one night, and nobody took the slightest bit of notice. We took Samantha Fox in there one night. I'll tell you what, that pub came to a standstill.
See her in that negligee, it's really just too much. My blood runs cold.
At one point I was like, I had a wine bar, a restaurant, clothesline, makeup, everything. It was mad. Funny thing was with the bar and restaurant was we had 20 bar staff, all Sam Fox lookalikes. We put an ad in the paper. So Sam Fox is looking for girls who look like her to work in a restaurant. And that day was hilarious seeing all these girls. It was great. I auditioned them all and I met them all. And that was when I realised how famous I was, really. When I first made my record, like Chris Tarrant scratched it off the radio, I went, oh, this is rubbish. It really upset me, and it was a good record, that was the thing, and I sang it good. But it sold in 17 countries and it went to #1. When I did retire, all the fans and the Sun kept asking me would I ever do it again, and I said maybe. I'm not leaving it because I regret it. I didn't just do 1 or 2 pictures what are going to haunt me the rest of my life. It was a career, and I was proud of it.
The nation's favourite Top Gun was drop-dead gorgeous Tom Cruise. He took our breath away. In the 80s, boys were thinking about Kim Basinger every 9.5 seconds. But they were thinking about Michelle Pfeiffer every 5.5 seconds. But the only 80s movie star sexy enough to satisfy Rob Lowe was Rob Lowe. He got caught starring in his own naughty home videos. And the girls would have swum oceans to be with Blue Lagoon star, Desert Island Dish, Christopher Atkins.
It was Columbia Pictures, from what I was told, Columbia Pictures' biggest grossing film of 1980, and I think it made well over $100 million.
Chris was the first man to get his hands on the gorgeous Brooke Shields.
And my first meeting with Brooke was a picture that Randall Kleiser had stuck up over my bed, so I would look at her face every single night so I'd get used to her and start falling in love with her before she showed up. I was 18 and she was, I think, 14 at the time. We had a lot of fun together, and we were the only two really each other's age, so we hung out a lot. And I remember I kissed her once, and that was well, that's about it. Well, let's leave it there. Of course I can remember filming the sex scene, Joe. Yeah, I can't forget that. Brooke at that time was so young that it was really foreign to her. She didn't have a chance, I don't think, to have had the opportunity to really go through any of that young love. We just sort of were thrown into it on the film. So it was a little foreign to her, I think, in that respect. A lot of the times when we were doing the scenes, I was fully nude, and, you know, and so she was seeing, you know, that type of thing right there was, you know, it was kind of, that's the way it was on the island sort of thing. I caught her peeking a couple of times.
But what was the best bit about Christopher Atkins' performance?
My ass. Can I say ass? My butt. My butt. I had more people constantly wanting to feel my butt and look at my butt and see my butt. It was my butt.
Coming up in part 2.
You know, I was super fit. I mean, I believe I was the fittest athlete in the world.
I broke a woman's arm. I broke a girl's arm with a pillow.
Next thing you know, I come out, Vice.
How can it be
80s, TV dishes had the girls salivating on the sofa. Smoulderingly sexy Michael Brandon was the most arresting cop. Even wearing tights, Michael Praed shot us straight through the heart as Robin Hood. He was the horniest thing in Jersey, apart from the cows, John Nettles from Bergerac. They were the hippest, slickest, coolest, sexiest cops we'd ever seen. Miami Vice hardmen Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas cruised onto our screens in fast cars and pastel jackets. We just couldn't get enough of them.
I think it was an idea whose time had come. When I read the script, I knew it was fabulous because it just had everything to it. The music, the talent that was put together, the technology, and just it was an MTV cop show. We've had some very interesting experiences with fans, especially the ladies. Women have exposed themselves, you know, and say, I love you! I want your earring. I want a piece of your hair. I want to, you know, it's amazing. Scary. Sometimes very scared. I'm trying to be calm and say, hey man, I'm only a person.
Back in Blighty, blue-blooded Sebastian was giving the girls red-hot flushes.
Brideshead was more than just a phenomenal period drama, because I think the thing I underestimated about it most was the escapist factor, which is, I think, what captured America. Heartthrob is the word, I suppose, that inevitably you become the most uncomfortable with, because it means that for some reason people have locked off. They've sort of become obsessive about you in a way. And you always feel you can't possibly do this kind of adoration any kind of justice.
We were doing a celebrity event where Don and I were being dunked in 400 gallons of chocolate. And let me tell you something, after we got finished doing our thing, we had the towels wrapped around us and they were trying to take us back to our dressing room. And they mobbed us, the women reaching and grabbing. I just want to taste it.
Ringing in my ears was the advice of my dear wife, who'd take one look at this script and said, you must be stark raving mad. What on earth do you want to go and play these two crazy poofters for? Are going to have absolutely no significance on what's going on in the 80s at all. I mean, she was wrong.
To be a sex god, you've got to wear the right clothes. And these boys didn't let us down.
See, Don and I were a little different in terms of wearing of the shoes, because Don did not wear socks. And he liked the stubble with the beard and whatever. And I always wore the tie-ups and the sidearms because I was more tailored.
People got back into stuff like black tie.
I liked it because I was setting the pace for the time, you know.
They used to have Brideshead look-alike parties, both sides of the Atlantic, so I'm told. I never actually had the guts to go to one. And you'd get endless photographs of people sort of trying to look like Sebastian and Charles, you know, in their white tie and their gear and their teddies or their whatever.
We had shoes and belts and shirts and clothes and hats and outfits. I mean, you're doing Cerruti, Armani, Gianni Versace, you know, Japanese, but I mean, it was incredible. I loved it. I could go to work in jeans, a t-shirt, baseball hat, and then next thing you know, I come out, Vice.
Bought the Thriller album, making Michael Jackson the face of the 80s, in black and later in white. And in brown, the beautiful bronze Wham boys. There was a rumor they wore shuttlecocks down their pants. But the pants we'll never forget belonged to Nick Kamen. His beautiful laundrette looks turned him into a pop star.
Each time you break my heart.
And had the girls in a spin. The cutest, quirkiest early 80s pop star was Nick Heyward from Haircut 100.
Haircut 100 is just one of the many names that we were in a space of about a month. We were trying to fish for the name. We used to dress up as Boy Scouts. Graham always wanted to be a lumberjack, so he dressed up as a lumberjack, and I dressed in polo gear sometimes. We'd sit round this coffee table and just think up names, and we were Captain Pennyworth, Napkin Man, the Blatant Beavers for a while. Every time we said to people, they said, you know, like, what's your name this week? And have you got a sensible one yet, you know? And we said, yeah, we've Haircut 100. And they go, you never, no way. One minute you're at home, the next minute, oh, you know, you're number 4. And the next minute, oh, your album's number 1. And and now Haircut Mania. We went from having nobody at airports and nobody really at gigs to suddenly being there and playing the role. We had a police escort from the concert, from the Liverpool Empire. We just got to the hotel, which was the Adelphi, and it was in its prime. And we went out on the balcony, and the whole of it was everywhere, just mass of people, and they were all. They'd come to sort of like say hello, and it was just this feeling of euphoric love, honestly, around the whole place, and I couldn't believe that they'd done that, and it was, you feel so humble, you know, to be. The most I could do was throw a pillow out the least, sorry, but not the most. I could have thrown the bed, I could have, you know, thrown everything out the window. But as I threw the cushion, it was kind of getting minced up by everyone down there as we were kind of looking over the balcony. It was getting torn to shreds, and then a poor girl broke her arm, and the ambulance came, couldn't get through the people, and so she'll remember that time as a magic moment of breaking her arm. But the guilt that we had, it was like, oh my God, to think, you know, I broke a woman's arm, I broke a girl's arm with a pillow.
Shooting stars in midnight posture.
Curiosity Killed the Cat provided plenty of pop totty. There was Miggy, Julian, Nick and Ben, all equally gorgeous, curious.
It would be impossible to have an actual emotional sexual relationship with a fan, though, because no matter what, they'll still have this sort of early memory of you, and they'll perceive you in this sort of like,
to be honest, and
you know, fantasy way.
Probably very disrespectful, but our fans weren't the best looking girls. I think all the rock bands had the kind of hot, you know, big titted blonde babes. We kind of had
ones
they were very young.
The fans we had were too young. They hadn't developed yet. They were like you know, the ugly duckling type vibe.
Nick didn't mind.
Definitely.
Nick was quite happy. Whatever he could get his hands on.
There was two things. There was fans and there was groupies. And the fans were fans. You didn't go near the fans.
Fans were sort of different. You know, there were groupies and whatever. We used to call them boilers. We used to have boiler passes. You do a gig and the crew
instead of backstage passes, different colour codings for different quality level.
Yeah. And you could tell which crew member sort of gave which girl the pass, and if it was a nice chick.
Normally, if they were half or quarter decent, like they wouldn't get through the roadie sort of like barrier, you know, because they'd be like, roadies would be like, well, I'll get you a pair of their socks if you know, do this for me, and you know, I promise you can meet them before they leave. And then all of a sudden, you know, we've left.
One night we were in Japan. I'd been out partying with some of the other guys in the band, and there was a lot of sort of models and stuff in Japan at the time. We used to hang out with them. And I came back, and Miggy's room was next to mine, and his door was open. So I went in to see if everything was all right, and I saw poor Miggy obviously had too much to drink over the loo. And I walked into his room and there was this girl in his bed. So I just took over where he left off.
Straight back down, come back down, straight back down, y'all, straight back down to earth.
We were on, I think that was our first major tour, and we were in Liverpool. It's not when we went to #1, but we seemed to have a fantastic following in Liverpool. They were the craziest fans were in Liverpool, and apparently we broke the Beatles record for amount of girls fainting.
The Beatles concert had caused like 149 girls to faint or something, and we heard after the concert, well, we saw a lot of people being carried out, basically, a lot of people, and we heard that we had a count of 151 bodies.
Just these floppy bodies, you know, in their white slingbacks and short skirts. I remember one time going to Manchester. We were scheduled to do a radio interview before the gig. Our bodyguard went and checked the entrance to make sure it was, you know, accessible for us. And he said, look, there's about 15 girls out there. We said, oh, fine, we'll go and sign the autographs. He'd actually gone to the wrong entrance.
And as we approached, there's about, I don't know, 300-400 screaming fans outside, and one of them noticed us.
And we saw him running back, saying, just run, run, turn around, run. And we, you know, there's something, this mass of young girls screaming, running down this alley. He just grabbed us and pulled us into a building society, locked the door, and it was, we just saw this kind of mad sea of girls, and the window was bending in and out, and we thought, oh my God, this window's going to go through.
I think if they ever stopped to think, they'd probably think, well, maybe it's not such a good idea screaming at them because they're an ugly bunch of fuckers. I didn't think that if you had a song called Lemon Fire Brigade and you kind of had Zits and a Side Parting Monthly and were gangly and I like a 6 from 0 to 10, you know, that you'd get that reaction. But there we are. You know, there's no accounting for taste, and we attracted really lovely people. I must admit, I do absorb the bad just as much as well as the good. I can see the duality of every situation, and you know, like walking down King's Road at the height and having this poor girl dragging on my leg. I was dragging her down, and she was kind of in tears, and I was just mortified and embarrassed. And then 2 girls over here, and with their boyfriend. The boyfriend wanted to beat me up, and the 2 girls wanted to be sick because they just thought it's that absolute, oh, we hate him. He's revolting off the TV. So that world is like woman hanging on your leg, crying her eyes out because there's so much love, and there's people wanting to kill you, stab you, and here over there people have been sick. And I remember pulling her off my leg and, oh, sorry, go away. Diving into this place called Scissors, which was just on the King's Road then. You know, every time you walk past this place, you get a pamphlet, like, come in and we give you a free haircut. So I went in there, and I just thought, this is bonkers world.
There were some muscly bodies in the 80s that grabbed our attention. Golden Boy, Daley Thompson broke hearts and Olympic records. Many boys would have loved to do a bit of breaststroke with Sharon Davis. Imran Khan bowled many a maiden over. Many a man's choice for mixed doubles would have been Annabel Croft and a belle of the courts. But it was Dashing Pat who was cashing in, turning heads on the tennis courts.
The 80s was the best era for champions in tennis, and probably of all time. You know, I was super fit. I mean, I believed I was the fittest athlete in the world. We're all, I suppose, good-looking guys, and the fans used to go crazy.
Glorious shot.
You know, which really made tennis exciting. It was really a very, very exciting era, but it was also rough. My life would, without a doubt, been easier if it wasn't for all the attention of all the girls. I mean, it was a lot of time it was just a logistic nightmare, and it was just a nightmare for me playing. If there's girls screaming on the side of the court. You'd walk on, at any stage you'd walk over to the side of the court, that side of the court, and they'd start screaming. You'd have to go to that side of the court 1,000 times in a match to return serve, and every time you go over there they'd be screaming at you. It really became a nightmare, certainly in places like Wimbledon, which was very closed in, and the fans could literally reach out and touch you. It got crazy.
Game catch. Good serve again.
You'd have to go through all the fans to get to the restaurant to get something to eat. And you'd poke your head out and you go, I wonder if I can get out now. And you poke your head out and you go, ah! You sort of come back and you go, ooh. And you get your coach to say, Coach, do you mind going and get me some food? You go, no worries, I'll go and do it. And he'd walk out and I go, ah! It was kind of funny as well. It was kind of fun, to sort of G the girls up. And that's where the headband stuff started coming in, because I used to throw my headbands out to the girls. And that sort of, all of a sudden that snowballed, and it was like, that made the papers, and then the next thing I knew there was like another 50 girls at my match, and then another 50, and it's really like you're a rock star.
Cash. Saying it wasn't that bad.
And I kind of enjoyed that. It was fun, but it was, I didn't take it too seriously, I just looked at it as a bit of fun, but at times it did get off-putting when you had match point or you're down, and you had a shot to hit, and all of a sudden the screams would come out, and you'd be like, oh my God, if you miss a shot, and you'd be like, just shut up. By the time I got to 87 at Wimbledon, I thought that, I've got a good chance of winning Wimbledon this year. And when I did win, and I was sort of down on the court there, by myself, and I looked up and I saw my coach and my father, and it just didn't feel right for me to be down there on the court by myself. And so the only thing for me to do was to climb on the commentary box and get up there and hug my father, my girlfriend, and my coach.
Ah, what a sweetheart. New balls, please. Coming up in part 3.
Girls screaming. Absolutely, it's an ego boost.
This girl literally was screaming after me, and she wouldn't let me go.
They're putting themselves on show for you. Once in a while you're going to think, cute.
Costs, and we would have paid $1 million to get hot and sweaty with those flash dancing, award-winning kids from Fame. Their music bounced to the top of our charts again and again. Did we want Fame? I should Coco.
The television series was unbelievably successful. It played in 68 countries. It had a phenomenon that it tapped into something with young people that was really extraordinary.
All these people from New York landed on, MGM lot, dancing and singing, and it was like, sometimes they didn't know what the hell had happened, and how do we control these people? How do we control them? But, we weren't meant to be controlled.
It's not like work at all. It's sort of like, it's like we're having a big party.
A celebration.
Life is a celebration.
Life is a celebration!
In '83, Fame did a sellout tour of Britain.
I remember this. We were on the plane and we were singing and dancing on the plane before we landed, and then we get there and there were like people at the airport. It was like a surreal experience, I have to say. We were rock stars in England.
The attention that we got, it's an incredible, incredible sight to have 50,000 people in the palm of your hand that they just love you and embrace you. What I remember about the fans and the girls, I don't know what to say about it. Sometimes it's a very scary place to be.
And this girl literally was screaming after me, and she hugged me and she wouldn't let me go for like a long time, and she was squeezing me so hard, and I was just standing there like, okay, I'm not breathing, let me go.
We would walk up to our hotel and, on a couple of occasions, girls, in the nude, just standing outside your door.
Audiences or the kids in England were turned on by the fact that they were watching these really interesting, talented kids who were the real thing. They were not packaged yet.
It was about growth, and it was about, work.
I've been working on this girl day and night.
I can't back out now.
So let me guess, you're having too much fun.
No, it's not fun. But I'm learning something. I can feel it.
Don't you think you're paying too high a price?
I hope I'm paying the same price Ilsa is.
You're not Ilsa, you're Coco.
Listen, I don't want to hear that. Can't you understand that, Danny?
But it's the truth.
Coco believed in astrology and really had such a drive, and nothing would stop her. Any kind of, any way to come up with some kind of scheme to get into this audition any way she could, you know, that kind of spirit that nothing will stop you.
My character would have been the last person to wear tights.
Leg warmers was just that was, you know, part of the dance style. You know, you had to wear leg warmers to dance. It kept your calves warm, you know.
And that was a big thing that was brought up with the producers. And I always said, the day that they ask me to wear tights or leg warmers will be the day that fame has gone Hollywood.
Our love for those kids from Fame will live forever, unlike our passion for leg warmers.
Sexy eyes on across the floor, got me wanting more. Sexy eyes.
In the decade of lip gloss, the boys wore slap and the girls lapped it up. Adamant took his name from a toilet manufacturer, but he wasn't your bog standard heartthrob. The girls were made up with Boy George. Imagine the stains on his sheets. Hope he used a good makeup remover. From eyeliner to airliner, qualified pilot Gary Newman was a runaway success with his fans. One of them even married him. In the film Barbarella, the character Duran Duran invented the Orgasmatron, a machine designed to give girls endless pleasure. Duran Duran were a machine that gave girls endless pleasure.
In this late 70s, like 77, suddenly everybody was making a record, everybody was playing, and it seemed kind of easy. Nick and I decided we wanted to form a band, but we wanted it to be a little different from the angry punk thing. And we were listening to sort of electro music and disco music and wanted to do something different. Simon came along, I think, in June '80. And by November that year, we had a deal. And by February, we were on top of the pops.
Duran Duran had it all. The 12 top 10 hits, the looks, the yachts, they were massive. They were well hung on bedroom walls.
The videos were crucial. You could really control the images that people got to see of you. So instead of going on shows like Supersonic and Get It Together and having really sort of dodgy camera angles, you could just create a video which was shot very slickly. And you'd also sort of show the band off. There was a part of us, Simon in particular, that fancied himself as an adventurer, and that image appealed to him.
I've seen you on the beach, and I've seen you on TV.
We were touring the world and we were having a lot of success around the world, and reports of this success was coming back to England all the time. So there's Duran Duran in Australia, there they are in California, there they are in Japan, and I think that, as well as the videos, created this effect that we were just jet setters, globetrotters.
Don't say a prayer for me now.
Glamorous globetrotting had its hazards. Guitarist Andy was hospitalized after filming this video in a pool of elephant urine. Ooh. John Taylor was 3 times winner of the smash hits Most Fanciable Male.
It was between Simon and I, because Simon was, the singer and I was the alternative. It was a lot of fun, but it became really competitive. Oh, where have you come in the poll? Oh, yeah, it was crazy, that things like that would become relevant. You have this phenomena taking place where there are these people that are dressing up, they're presenting themselves, they're coming, they're putting themselves on show for you. And most of the time we're thinking job, band, song, chord, note, but you know, once in a while you're going to think cute. The last thing you wanted was a relationship with somebody who really thought Nick was cute, or, you know, really liked Simon. It took me a long time to feel comfortable having a girlfriend, period. You know, I sort of felt that I needed to be single, that's who I was, and that's why I was famous, that's why I had a career. By the time I married Amanda, it was really all over. I wasn't, you know, an icon. I don't think anybody really cared. I think if it had happened in 1982, then it would have been, you know, there would have been suicides and, you know, girls throwing themselves up Brighton Pier.
And dolled-up Spandau Ballet were riding the new romantic wave, which looked like fun to the female population.
Girls screaming it, yeah, absolutely. It's an ego boost. In Liverpool, I think it was, in the early 80s, and we were sitting in the dressing room, which was 2 floors up, and suddenly there was a tap at the window, and this girl had climbed up the drain pipe. And I thought, she's got to come in, this girl, you know. I had a personal fan, her name was Helen, and she sent me a box, it was like this, and inside were hundreds of individually wrapped Rolos. And she said, I've saved up all my last Rolos for you. And I had a lot of lookalikes. And there was one in particular in Germany that used to follow us around in Germany. And it used to make me laugh, this guy. He was obviously short-sighted. He looked really like me, except for he had these glasses and big eyes where they'd magnified his eyes, you know. And this one occasion, it was in Essen. And I've jumped down off the stage to play the sax solo in True, and it always got a cheer or whatever, yeah. And it was kind of my moment in the set, you know. And I've just gone to play, and I've put the sax on my mouth, and I've caught sight of this guy. He's got this little squeaky saxophone, and he's playing the sax, and that was it. I lost it completely.
I'm walking into studio, cause a stranger appear, paint me in the home.
Did I overspeak the fans? No, I don't think so. The stories in the papers, I think half of them were probably started by myself, to be honest with you. We were in danger of being a goody-goody band. And Tony and Martin as well gave some interviews where they just, you know, they elaborated and they fantasized. I did the same thing. I think it backfired on me, actually, but because it's not nice when you read about these exploits, in particular when they didn't happen. But I wasn't a bed hopper, no. The new romantic movement kind of came out of the punk movement. In punk, everyone was dressing down, and as a reaction to that, everyone started to dress up. We were the musical spearhead of it.
The first time I heard them was the first single, to cut a long story short, and we bought the single, took it back to the club where we were working, and we turned the system on and played it, and we all went, nah, no trouble.
With Spandau, with any band, it's important the way you look.
The next week they were on Top of the Pops and they looked fabulous. They had all the kilts and the tartans, and they just, to us, they looked amazing.
You grab, you know, an eclectic mix and match, old World War I outfits, jumpers, the boots, the lot, you know.
And with me for a while it was like that, well, me, Simon, it was that hat, it was the fedora, which we'd gotten from Raiders of the Lost Ark anyway.
We were kind of one step ahead. That was so important, because then you had people following you there.
This is a part of being iconic, that there's something about you that people will pick up on.
You know, I can remember being in New York, and we used to go out, and like Martin would be Robin Hood, and I would be Clint Eastwood. And we would just stroll along Lexington like that, as if we were wearing 3-piece suits. You know, and so honestly, we felt we were untouchable.
The 80s were on the edge the whole time.
We made it very easy So we spent it very easy.
It wouldn't be a proper story if you didn't actually earn nothing out of what you did. And that's what I think pop is about. It's about a little, it's pop. You pop like you're passing wind.
I only knew you for a while. I never saw your smile.
Everybody who came out of the 80s either is dead or in rehab.
I sat down with a girl and we started drinking Southern Comfort lemonade.
Pumped up on tequila.
No holds bar, but it was right walking that edge.
It was also an attitude as well. I can remember wondering about the tube in a kilt, and it was like, come on, say something.
If she leaves her knickers in your dirty washing bag.
The 80s were a totally sexy decade.
If I had to have a pin-up with the 80s, it would be Demi Moore.
A picture of Kim Wilde.
Debbie Harry.
There, but just above the shower.
Jason Donovan.
Because she looked like she wouldn't say no.
Check out whose posters were peeling off the walls a decade later in Heartthrobs of the 90s next Sunday. Meanwhile, slap the Factor 20 on and make like it's summertime already with Caribbean Uncovered.